Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Bella Gamer, and today I have a very interesting video. Now, I know for the majority of my audience, most of you guys probably already know about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, are playing it, or are generally interested, and you've probably seen a fair amount of my videos. Today's video is for, people who are looking for a new TTRPG that might want to get a hint of what it's about. Now, this is not a full review. If you want to see a full review, check out my review. I'll post it here in the corner where you will get a more in-depth look at Pathfinder. But today is going to be about the vibes. What can you expect from Pathfinder 2nd Edition? So let's just do this in a very easy way. Let's talk about the ABCs, right? The ancestry, background, and class. Starting off with the ancestry. Ancestries in Pathfinder 2nd Edition are nuts. There's a ton. Now, granted, you do have your standard fantasy tropes. You have elves, humans, dwarves, you even have gnomes, halflings, and the like. So if you're familiar with things like D&D, you're going to be able to fit right in. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the other ones, because we have automatons. So being a whole-ass robot, we have androids, who are still robots, but more at least humanoid robots, if that's kind of more your preference. We have the Goloma, because, just look at it. Look at it. This thing is just nuts. And then look at this absolute unit. This guy right here. Yeah, you can play pug people in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. You can play the Shuni, which are the pug people, and they got all kinds of new ancestries coming out with every book. And it's nuts. There's all kinds of great character ideas just with that. In addition to whatever ancestry you pick, you also get feats for those ancestries. So as you level up, you get specific feats that give you unique abilities only for your ancestries or your heritages. So the heritages are the things that let you be someone's angle and their devil. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, most of the ancestries have they're generic like heritages. Like if you're a dwarf, are you a hill dwarf, a forged dwarf, or a variant, the elemental heart, for instance, one of my favorites. Or we have versatile heritages, which give you a little bit of splash of something else. You want to be a lycanthrope werewolf-esque character? Well, then just select the beastkin. If you want to be someone's angle or their devil, then how about the Nephilim that lets you pick, variety of good, evil options as well in a game that doesn't have an alignment, I might add. But, angel options, devil options, that kind of stuff, holy, unholy. We got all kinds of cool stuff. And there's many, many more versatile heritages, and they keep coming out with more. That's a line you're going to get very familiar with. So we're done talking about ancestries. Let's talk about backgrounds. Now, backgrounds admittedly are not a very big thing in the game, but this is a really good opportunity to talk about how you do your stats in Pathfinder. It's very simple. Your ancestry will give you 2 boosts, either a specific one or 2 free ones, and some ancestries give you an option to have a bad stat to have another good stat. And then no matter what ancestry you pick, you can just opt to take 2 just standard boosts if you just want to be a character who kind of goes beyond the norm of what their ancestry normally entails. The background also does this, and whatever background you choose, you can actually even make up your own background without having too much issue. The biggest thing of the background is they give you 2 stat boosts, one of 2 choices. For instance, if you're a farmer, you might have strength or constitution as one of your potential boosts, and then any other stat for your second boost, as long as it's not one you've already selected. So if you pick strength, you could pick any other stat besides strength for your second one. You could do that for anything. You could tell your GM, hey GM, I want to do this idea for my character, and they're like, okay, then pick one of these 2 stats for 1 boost and, whatever free boost. In addition, you get a skill proficiency and a lore proficiency, which is tied to it. So if you're in the Mafia, for instance, you get, underworld lore or the like, and that just gives your character specific knowledge on where you're from. And then you get a skill feat that lets you just do something even better. Maybe you're really good at finding bargains and deals, so you get Hobnobber or the like. So you can actually do anything you want for the background, and it really doesn't matter. The formula for it is super easy. So the backgrounds, while not necessarily being a big part of the game, can allow you to really shape your character's backstory really well. In addition, there are actually rare backgrounds that you can ask your DM if you can take, and these can do same things like the Amnesiac, which gives you 3 skill boosts or stat boosts, but you do not get any skill proficiencies or skill feats and the like. So already, just in these 2 features, if you're someone who's super about flavor and about creating an interesting character, well, then there's stuff for you too. But if you're a munchkiner, if you're a min-maxer who really enjoys optimizing, well, we actually still have options for that as well. And let's even talk about the classes. Going 20 plus, I think currently there's 23 plus, there's 2 new classes coming out soon. There is a ton of different class choices. And in addition to these class choices, you get a feat every even level that lets you more specifically tune up your character. I have a bunch of builds in my channel that you can all watch if you want to get some ideas of what is possible. But the long and short of it is, if you want to be a badass warrior, you can be a badass warrior. If you want to be a magic caster, there's a magic caster. Not only that, but the Paizo staff are hard at work making new classes that kind of go beyond the standard fantasy tropes that do very unique things. A good example of this is the Thaumaturge. There's someone who is like Constantine. They have unique artifacts and relics that they use as a big part of their kit that lets them do like different kinds of things. One of my favorite parts about the Thaumaturge is that they get the ability to use any magic scroll that they come across, even though they're not innately spellcasters, meaning that on your journey, if you don't have any spellcasters in your group, you can still make use of some of the magical items that you find. And I mean, there's also Paizo's really good and very ingenious method of multiclassing. They're called archetypes, and archetypes actually have a variety of types. And what an archetype more or less does for your character is just changes your character to do something extra. Now, there's a variant rule that almost every table uses, which is called the free archetype rule, which gives you a second set of levels. Every time you'd get a class level up, or a class feat, you get a feat in an archetype, which is really cool. So not only can you be a fighter, but you could multi-class into wizard if you really wanted to, and you would still be a really good fighter, but you would just add some extra spell casting on top. And while you wouldn't be as good as a wizard, you would still be a full fighter with wizard stuff added on. This is something I really like in this game, because I hate when I have to choose between, do I want to keep to my core concept, or do I want to dip out of my core concept to pick up power elsewhere and prevent me from reaching my ultimate stuff in my initial class. I hate when I have to make that choice, and in Pathfinder, you really don't. And even if you don't use the free archetype rule, you can sacrifice a class feat at any point to pick up an archetype dedication that gives you access to a whole new set of feats that you can add. And beyond multiclassing, there's also just other feats, whether you want to be a fireworks technician who uses all kinds of alchemical compounds to make fireworks and make big bombs, for instance, or maybe you're a cursed maelstrom, a character who's cursed, who has this curse that constantly causes misfortune to those around you, and you learn to manipulate and use this vile curse. There's all kinds of really cool things that you can add to your character to make them something more, make them something more unique. And in addition to all this, there are class archetypes, which allow you to change how your class works. For instance, the wizard has the Rune Lord's class archetype, which you select at level 1, and rather than going to your normal colleges and learning your normal things, you actually study under the arts of the Rune Lords and go with one of the Sin styles of magics. This gives you unique abilities, the ability to embed a magical stone in your head, and all kinds of other unique things that you can pick up in addition to what normal wizards normally get access to. There's all this and more, and I keep saying that Paizo keeps coming out with stuff. The amount of content that comes out from Paizo is absolutely insane. In the year I'm making this video, I can think of 4 to 5 books that are going to be coming out that are going to be filled with character options, whether it's Howl the Wild, which is going to be introducing the new large ancestry, so you can actually play a large character right out the gate, or the unique archetypes found in that book. Let's not even mention the new War of the Immortals book that's going to have new divine classes coming out that use divine in very unique ways, different than a champion/paladin character or the cleric. Paizo releases new books all the time. If you want new material in your TTRPG, Paizo is going to be the company for you. There's no company out there currently that has a same level of production, and not only that, but everything that comes out is insanely good because the staff at Paizo, they play the game. They know what players want. I can't tell you guys the number of times I've come up with a concept to add to my games, and then it just got made into a part of what Paizo was releasing later. In fact, you can check out one of our live plays on the channel, and you can see I came up with the idea of undead companions. And then shortly after that, like a year after that, they came out with the Book of the Dead, which introduced undead companions. It's actually really insane. Paizo and what Pathfinder 2nd Edition really bring to the table more than anything is a game that spoils the players for choice. First edition had like 40 plus different character like class types in the game. It was insane. The number of ancestries, the number of books they give you that give you like there's a whole continent section that is just a book. And they're going to be releasing more. In fact, this year they're going to be releasing more content from another continent in the world, the Qianxia book, which is going to release a bunch of Eastern style stuff. And not only that, but many of the writers who are working on that book are people from Eastern descent. So that means that a lot of these books are also very well sourced and are not very westernized in a lot of ways. And that's actually a really good thing because it gives you a lot of really unique and interesting choices that you can add to your game for all kinds of fun. If anything, let this be the thing. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is a game I've dedicated my channel to and a lot of my time and effort to because it is currently my favorite TTRPG. I've played TTRPGs for about 20 years now at this point, and I can tell you that none have really hit the mark as well as Pathfinder 2nd Edition for modern design, just tons of choices, and a really good world to explore. And I mean, if you're a GM, there's not really many better games out there because they have multiple books on the various areas. I mean, they have a whole system that tells you about settlements, what the settlements offer, what level those settlements are, which indicate what kind of items the players can find. They have this for all kinds of different areas, regions. They have a book that tells you how to make certain items, traps, magic items, relic seeds, all that kind of stuff. Crafting rules that are actually really good, really decent anyway, that really make players want to invest in the downtime in the game. And I mean, let's talk about the two games that came out about the IP of Pathfinder, Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous. Wrath of the Righteous was the prior game to this year's Rogue Trader that Owlcat Games did. And I mean, the games are just chock full, like a guaranteed 100 hours of content, no matter how you play the game. They're really good, and there's so much content. And I mean, even right now, we do our own homebrew content and games, but we're also playing the Kingmaker Adventure Path because the Adventure Paths are just really good. Like, if you want a premium tabletop content that is high fantasy, this is the game for you. And before I forget, I actually want to leave one extra part here because it's actually one of my favorite parts for those who stuck this long in the video. They actually make you want to buy items as players. The items in the game, the items, potions, or whatever, not only are they not that expensive for at least a lot of the lower level stuff, but they're also insanely useful. A potion can just replace a heal spell. In all honesty, if you characters have gold to use, you can make your group actually stronger, which is really hard to do in TTRPG. And this is beyond the use of like magic weapons and gear you can buy from vendors. No, the consumables are actually good and are actually very interesting. And there's so much currently in the game. I think there's over 1,000 different items that your group can buy, a variety of forms. They have vehicles, they have, you know, animals that you can buy, pets you can buy. I mean, come on. This is the whole package of a TTRPG. So, yeah, if you enjoy this kind of content, please share this with anyone who you want to get into Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and as well like the video because it helps other people see it. And if you want to see more content on other TTRPGs, not just Pathfinder, well, then subscribe. As well, we're going to be doing a lot of these kind of videos for some other games. I know I'm going to be doing a video like this for Lancer. And one of the things I'm going to be doing with this year is trying to introduce people to more and more TTRPGs. So if you want to help me out with that, subscribe, tell people about the channel, do whatever. We're going to be releasing more videos like this. In addition, I will be having full reviews of the games I'm going to be doing these kind of thematic intro videos for. And I will also be doing a dummies style guide of how to play for Pathfinder and other games. So if you really want a core channel for all things TTRPG, well, this is the place to be. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck with your games. Leave the bad luck to me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.